Do you want immense action, thrilling battles, dynamic lightsaber duels, breathtaking animation, a grounding human element, and a strong emotional through line? Then you need to watch The Clone Wars. No, not that Clone Wars. Well, no, I'm talking about this Clone Wars. In all seriousness, now that the Clone Wars TV show has finally ended with its final season in 2020, it's time to look over the legacy of the show. Clone Wars was not perfect, but it remains as one of my favorite TV shows of all time. If you didn't know, Clone Wars is actually an anthology series. It's not linear, just a group of closely related yet separate stories for you to enjoy. You want R2 stories? There's like 3. Jar Jar stories? Yeah, there's a few. And they're good. Any show that can make Jar Jar Binks a lovable character deserves all of our praise. So today in this video, I'm going to break down my top 15 Star Wars The Clone Wars arcs. Starting us off at number 15 is Into the Void. This arc is probably one of the worst written in the entire show, but visually it's a masterpiece. It's so experimental, and in the end, it's really touching and heartwarming. I like this arc, and honestly, I don't get all the hate. It even introduces the Clone Commandos to the Clone Wars universe, which was just really cool when I first saw it. Coming in at number 14 is Holocron Heist. This is a nice introduction to Cad Bane, a bounty hunter who steals the Jedi children and Holocron from the Jedi Temple. It also has a nice space battle and grows the connection between Anakin and Ahsoka. I really like this one, and it's just a solid arc through and through. Number 13 is actually a longer arc, and it's the Geonosis one. Now you might be saying, how come they revisit Geonosis in the Clone Wars? And in this arc, it's different from the movie. It sees the Jedi fight in the Geonosians for control of a droid factory. Ahsoka, Anakin's Padawan if you didn't know, is really tested in this arc, as she has to fight zombies and destroy this massive Citadel-like tower, and Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ki-Adi-Mundi also shine in this arc. And an alien-style monster queen pops up in the end. All of it is very cool. Now, I know I'm probably crazy for putting this next arc so low, but number 12 is actually the Rookies arc. The first 2 episodes of this arc really flesh out the personality of a squad of clones, and it has a solid emotional line through it. This arc is really good. The last 2 episodes also feature the battle on Kamino, which highlights exactly what it means to be a clone, and it introduces a lot of key themes seen throughout the rest of the series. It also has some pretty cool action sequences between droids and clones. Arriving at number 11 is the Deathwatch arc. This is the audience's first introduction to Mandalore, a peaceful neutral system. Oh yeah, it also brings in Obi-Wan Kenobi's ex-girlfriend, who he says he would have left the Order for. We finally get to see that good Jedi like Obi-Wan Kenobi have feelings too. Anakin isn't alone with having a secret love, it's just that Obi-Wan was able to control that side of himself. Oh yeah, Obi-Wan also finds a bunch of Mandalorians, the warriors this time, by himself. Breaking us into the top 10, however, is the Citadel. Now this is where it gets really good. The Citadel faces Anakin, Captain Rex, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, with freeing a captured Jedi Master from the most secure Separatist facility in the entire galaxy. On the line are hyperspace codes so valuable that they could win the war. Not only does this task result in many casualties, it also matures Ahsoka and changes her forever. The action sequences are also so intense and lead to a grand heist. It's just really cool, and it's a necessary arc to see. 9 is the longest arc on the list, and actually in the whole show, and that's the Night Sister arc. Now most of this arc is gold. For example, I really like how Dooku turns on a secret apprentice who actually belongs to a coven of secret force witches, who then turn on him and train another apprentice from him to train his replacement, who's actually following the orders of the other fallen apprentice, who both turn on Dooku and try to kill him. Meanwhile, Anakin and Obi-Wan go to the witches and find out about the plot to track down the 2 apprentices and Dooku, which ends up in an all-out brawl between 5 different force wielders, and that's just the first 2 episodes. Now granted, those are my favorite 2 episodes, but it also does a lot of other stuff. Ventress, the secret apprentice that Dooku turned on, tries to kill him with voodoo magic, and the arc also has an all-out battle between the droid army and the witches. It also, spoiler, reintroduces Darth Maul, and his relationship with Obi-Wan is just absolutely fantastic. But I've been talking way too long about this arc already, so let's get on to the next one. Now before we get on to the next one, actually, I need to clarify. For the next arcs on this list to beat the epicness of the Night Sisters, they really need to have a big emotional impact either on the characters or the audience. From here on, emotion must be present. And it's very present in number 8, which is the Mortis arc. Mortis explores the spiritual nature of the Force like it was never explored before. The characters are actually sucked into another dimension and meet these godlike figures known as the Ones, where Anakin as the Chosen One can replace the most powerful one, the Father. Now, this arc is just so incredibly good, as many of our characters have their mettle tested, and most actually fail. Seeing their failure is fantastic, and I just love it. I love this arc, and don't want to spoil any of this, go watch it, it's amazing. Now, getting on to number 7 is the Slave arc. This arc really digs into our core 3 Jedi, Obi-Wan and his Padawan Anakin, and Anakin's Padawan Ahsoka. First, Ahsoka is tested as her people are kidnapped by slavers and taken away. Then Anakin is tested as he has to pretend to be a slaver despite being a slave for a chunk of his life. It's really painful for him. And his mother died a slave. It's just really painful. Obi-Wan is also captured and put into an unbeatable situation. He himself is enslaved, and if he resists, other people die. If he tries to help the other slaves, other people die. It's just, he slowly just has to do the slave work, and he's slowly just chipped away as the slavers try to break Obi-Wan's will. And it's just absolutely fantastic. And there are some cool fight sequences, so that doesn't hurt either. This is definitely one of my favorite arcs. Now, this arc and the Slaves arc actually are tied for me, but if you made me choose, I'd slightly edge it to the Box arc, which is coming in at number 6. This arc starts with Obi-Wan being killed in front of Anakin and Ahsoka. Just what an amazing opening. This causes Anakin to go crazy, and he really struggles with his inner darkness, so he ends up capturing the bounty hunter that killed him. However, this is actually a scheme by the Jedi Council, which ends up increasing Anakin's distrust of them even more. Obi-Wan is actually infiltrating the underworld disguised as his killer, but once Anakin captures him, he teams up with Cad Bane and Dooku to kidnap the Chancellor. Meanwhile, Anakin hunts down Obi-Wan. It's really well done, and you get to see a more interesting side of Star Wars. And it also cuts Anakin to his core, which is just really sad and really deep. Now, I'm surprised that this arc made it to number 5. I'm really surprised, and that's the Umbar arc. And it really is the Vietnam of the Clone Wars. It's brutal and deeply explores the relationship between the clones. You really see why they are different from the droids. Their relationships are really put to the test when a cruel and harsh general threatens them like explosible garbage and ends up killing thousands of them. But the clones know that they must follow the orders, and therefore they throw their lives away. These decisions really split the clones. Some want to abandon their insane general, and others just want to be good soldiers and follow the suicidal orders. This also has by far the best warfare type action in the entire show, period. Pretty much the entirety of Star Wars. It's really great. Now, confusingly, coming in at number 4 is the Fives arc. Now, by season 6, Fives is Captain Rex's right-hand man. Rex is the clone we kind of follow throughout the series. And the only surviving clone from Season 1's Domino Squad happens to be Five. He's a fan favorite and an ARC trooper, but his life gets completely changed. He actually discovers Order 66 early and becomes the #1 threat to Palpatine's plans. So all of a sudden, the entire galaxy is against him. He can't turn to the Republic for help because the plans within the Republic are against him. And Palpatine puts him in an impossible position. He tries desperately to escape various facilities he's taken to, and his only goal is to warn Rex and Anakin about the incoming danger. And he can't do it. He can't sell it. And it's really sad, it's very intense, and I truly love this arc. Now, at number 3 is what I'm calling the Mandalorian Arc. This is the payoff to the Night Sister arc. Now, all of this is spoilers. Maul comes back, takes over the crime syndicates to control Mandalore, the leader of the neutral systems, by the way. And with all this power, he murders the love of Obi-Wan's life, that ex-girlfriend from earlier, and destroys everything that she stood for. And Obi-Wan has to flee and escape with his life and watch as everything that he loved and everything that he would support collapses before his very eyes. And it also has some of the best action in the entire show. It's probably the 3rd best overall battle and the 2nd best lightsaber fight, if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Coming in 2nd place is the Ahsoka arc. The arc is heartbreaking, and it was my favorite arc before Season 7 came out. Well, that's a spoiler for number 1. Seeking the order that Ahsoka really devoted herself to, it just turns on her, and it's gut-wrenching. Anakin is the only one that believes her, and she's framed for a murder that she didn't commit. And she gets to hide in the Coruscant underworld. She meets up with Ventress as they try to track down the real killer. Anakin also gets to explore his own dark side again, trying to track down the people that might have framed Ahsoka, and it actually is a rather fun lightsaber battle. But the real power in this arc is just the emotions. And here's a big spoiler. When Ahsoka leaves the Order, it's the most emotional that the show had really ever been by far, and it's really heartbreaking. Finally, at number 1 is the finale arc. And I'll say it, this might be the best Star Wars content of all time. These are the last 4 episodes of the 7th season, which shows what Ahsoka and Rex were doing while Anakin and Obi-Wan were goofing around in Episode 3. The following is all spoilers, so you can skip to the very end of the video. Episode 1, bittersweet reunion between Anakin and Ahsoka. Then Ahsoka revisits Mandalore, which is now overrun by Maul. She also gets one of the coolest action sequences in the beginning as she lands on the Mandalorian capital city. Then, in episode 2, is the best lightsaber battle in the entire show. Now, she defeats Darth Maul, and it is so intense. The battle with Rex happens at the exact same time, is also just amazing and super well done. Lightsaber battles in Star Wars are always a battle of ideologies, and these two characters, being Ahsoka and Maul, are actually so similar, but what they want are two completely different things. The energy between them is nearly palpable. The third episode is Order 66, in which Rex and Ahsoka only survive because of 5 sacrificed earlier. This arc ties in all of my favorite stories from the whole show together, and it's masterful. It's so intense, and the fights between Maul and the clones are just so cool and visually impressive. And the final episode, although it is my least favorite of the bunch, it provides Maul with his coolest moments yet, and it hits that emotional through line with Ahsoka and Rex. The desperation to escape Order 66 and the tragedy in it is so real and fresh. It also served as a fantastic ending to the series. The series that was really about the clones and the Jedi as a whole, it shows that, in the end, the clones were all but forgotten. In the end, everything, Ahsoka and Rex, they go into hiding. Everything that they fought for, it was for nothing. And Vader, he rises literally above the wreckage of everything that Anakin cared about. It's beautiful, and it's at number 1. Hey guys, it's Jakins here, and I know it's been way too long. I hope all of you are staying safe during this time, and I hope you have stayed safe since the last time you were here. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.